Hello everyone! You're on the Dash Art Space channel, and if you don't know me, let's get acquainted. My name is Dasha and I'm a professional art photographer. I have been doing photography for about 5 years and already have good results. I am medalist and winner of over 20 of the most prestigious and important photography contests around the world, but the most important prize I received this year becomes the Best Professional Photographer in Europe 2020. And this award is especially important because I became the first photographer from all Eastern Europe to win the main prize. I also became the first female artist to be awarded the first prize in the history of the competition. And what does it mean? This suggests that it doesn't matter where you are, whether you are man or woman, if you take good quality photos, you will have good results. On my channel, I will talk about the secrets of photography, share my experience and of course inspire you. And now, I propose to start the first training lesson and I will tell you the top 5 most important points for beginner photographer. Let's go! So, tip number 1. Ask yourself a question. What do you want to photograph? Wedding, family, children, portrait photography, what genre? If you cannot answer this question, then I recommend trying different genres and understanding what do you best and what you are really interested in. When you decide on the genre of photography, it will be much easier for you to learn. It is much easier to choose your equipment and, of course, there will be real goals and real results. In my opinion, the most successful photographers are those who have found their own genre and are specialists in their genre. I believe that the best specialists are narrow-profile specialists. If you jump across genres and take pictures of everything, it will take a lot of your time, and the results will be subtle. It's likely that the result may not be at all, and you will not feel your progress. Our most valuable resource is time, so don't waste it. When I started photography, I purposefully tried several genres. I tried to do a few wedding photo shoots, but immediately realized this was not suitable for me. Wedding photography seemed boring and uninteresting to me and not promising for me as an artist. First of all, I consider myself an artist and treat photography as a high art. A little later, I tried a few more genres in which I had no interest. There was only one option left. This is art photography, which combines exactly what I love to do the most, namely drawing and photography. And if you already know that you want to photograph, you have chosen your genre, then this is just wonderful. This saves a lot of time, you can concentrate on work, set goals and already go towards them. My recommendation for aspiring photographers or photographers who are still looking for themselves: be sure to find a reference point for yourself and set the bar high for yourself. See as many photos and materials as possible. See what is special about them, what you like about other photographers' photos, and try to achieve the same high results. Always look up to the very best photographers and the highest level. Set the highest targets in front of you, and this will help you to achieve good results. Most often, when people talk about photography for beginners, the first point is the choice of equipment, the search for your camera and lens. But this will be my second recommendation, although I could make it the last. Let me explain to you why, and this will be my recommendation number 2. Any equipment has its limits. If you are given any camera, then sooner or later you will fully study it and it will become completely understandable for you. But your fantasy and your development work completely differently, something you can work on constantly. And I am a big believer that the camera is not one of the most important points in your work, although it does matter too. So my next recommendation will be about choosing a camera. When you start something new, it's usually recommended to start with something primitive, simple, and cheap. For example, if you recently got a driver license, you will be advised to buy the simplest car, so it's not to be sad if you break it. I agree with this opinion, but only in part, because my story in choosing the camera, the first camera, was exactly the opposite. When I decided that I wanted to do photography, I didn't even give myself the opportunity to think that I might change my mind. I set myself the goal of taking very good photographs in perspective and taking not just photographs, but real photography masterpieces. For this reason, I made sure that if I buy the cheapest crop camera, I will grow out of it very quickly. So I took all my savings and bought a Canon 5D Mark III, and it was 2015. At that time, this camera was very good even for professionals, and given the fact that before that I had no camera and no experience, buying expensive equipment was a very risky decision. But now I understand that it was the right decision. Yes, it was difficult for me and sometimes I cried because I didn't get the masterpieces that I imagined. It seems to me that I'm making cool photos was much easier. The main thing a photographer needs to understand, especially a beginner photographer, is not the camera that creates your photos. Only you create photos and can make them more than just a click. Therefore, if I gave you a personal recommendation from my own experience, then I would tell you to buy a good camera right away. And if you are still in doubt and you know yourself that you can change your decision, in that case it's better to buy a cheap camera first. Having worked with an ordinary, simple and cheap camera, you will gain experience and I hope you will gain the desire to buy a good, professional, full-frame camera in the future. The situation is the same for lenses. I can tell right away that 2 lenses are enough for me to work, and I believe that for a beginner photographer, one of the most important lenses should be 50mm, and I will explain why. The first reason is that the fixed lens will teach you. It will force you to look for an angle and work with the composition. The second reason is that the lens is very light and compact, you can always take it with you. The third reason, the lens of 50mm have a very beautiful and clear, detailed picture. The fourth reason is that this lens has a simple optical system. This means that such a lens will not be very expensive. And the fifth reason is that the 50mm lens provides a perspective close to how our eyes see. This means it will be ideal for photographing portraits. There may be many different lenses in your kit, but as I said earlier, a lot of will depend on the genre you choose. Therefore, you can adjust your purchasing depending on what you want to photograph. Moving on, tip number 3. Choose your photos correctly. After taking enough photos, what to do next? We must keep working, and one of the most key points will be choosing the right photos. You should look at your photo session several times and choose a couple of the best photos. When I say couple of photos, they are not 10 of the same type. Maybe they are just 2 of the best photos. Don't go for the middle ones. Choose only the best and let it be 1 photo in 100. I can tell you in more detail how this is done. Write in the comments if you are really interested. So, tip number 4. In parallel with your photography training, I recommend learning photo retouching. This will open up completely new opportunities for you, save your money and help you implement ideas more clearly. I'm not talking about something very difficult now. I'm talking about banal cropping of photos if the composition is not perfect, and also do the simple color correction. And if you want to go further and study retouching at a high level, then you cannot do without a graphics tablet. As for me, I always retouch my photos myself. It has always been that way. I started retouching at home, sitting in front of the monitor watching training videos. I quickly came to the conclusion that it's simply impossible to do high-quality retouching without a graphic tablet, and I got my first budget tablet, Wake Up. Now, I can't imagine how it was possible to work without a tablet. 5 years later, I create my own retouching system, and you will create one for yourself. So let's move on the last fifth tip. You can photograph as long as you want, photograph anyone and whatever you want, but that's not my advice right now. Let's divide your photography work into two types. The first type, your creative work, realizing your creative potential. The second type of photography is commercial photography and the photographs that you are asked for. Trust me, when your friends find out that you have decided to become a photographer and have already bought a camera, they will start asking you to take photos for them. For the friends of your friends, they will ask you to do photo sessions. You must remember that your work, your time is not for free. Never agree to work for free. And that's my tip number 5. I already talked about the reserve of time in this video, and this is our most expensive resource. Therefore, value your time and allocate it correctly. Therefore, for any photo shots that you are asked about, you must take payment. Let not big at first, but your time must be paid. The price of your service will constantly change and grow with your experience. Don't put the price too high, but don't put it too low. I also always divide my photographs into two parts, one the creative side and the commercial side. I never work it for free. Well, here I shared with you 5 tips for aspiring photographers, and I hope that you were interested and I inspire you to create interesting photos. Write in the comments your questions and wishes for the next videos. If you liked this video, do not forget to like and subscribe my channel, and of course, don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss the new videos. Thanks for watching and bye-bye!